I'm not sure what's happening. Give me 1 second.
Thing.
Your tech got anxious, man.
Right.
By the dip, did you say anything in Discord that we were having a tech issue? Didn't think about that.
No, I haven't put anything out yet. If you need me to, I can. I
made a quick announcement in the Prime Ascendance.
Okay, I'll make a...
I just said coming up shortly. Just so that they know we're about to pop on.
Yep.
It's like it's streaming, but it's not letting me go live, so I'm not quite sure why. Give me a second to figure it out.
Yeah.
Take a few minutes, man. 12:05 is not bad. 5 minutes ain't bad. Whatever.
Most AMAs I'm in, you don't get on right away, anyways, so no big deal.
Mm-hmm. Right, a little bit of anticipation.
Got to keep them waiting.
All right, we're live. Yeah. Finally, it's going.
All right, look, we made it.
Yeah.
Everybody, welcome. We're streaming live on YouTube. We're going to upload this podcast, but this is Prime Minds episode 1. We're going to dive deep into Champions Ascension, everything Champions Ascension. You're listening right now to King Dav, and I'm here with 4 of my good buddies, some real Champions Ascension OGs. That is Bonzaga, Z Macon, Vita G, and By the Dip. What's up, fellas? How you guys doing?
Hey,
good, King Dav.
Good. Glad to be here.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. Bonzaga, man, how you feel? First of all, Bonzaga, a real OG. I think he's been in the Discord since December. I think when I look at Bonzaga, I see that he does so many wonderful things. I'm talking about making animations with some of the magical animals. He wrote a really good piece of lore on Medium, and he's getting all of our tech together. Bonzaga, how you doing, man?
Hey, doing great. Happy to be here.
And Z Macon, you were in episode 0. We did a little interview already. How you feeling this weekend?
Glad to be here, man. Glad to be back. Always happy to talk Prime.
Good. Vita G, first time with us, man. I think you said you're going to add some colors, some colorful commentary. How you feeling?
I'm doing well, thank you. And I do just want to verify, Bonzaga, are we up? Because I'm not seeing it on YouTube. I just want to make sure before we go too far.
Yeah, it's a different link because the original stream ended, and so I had to push out a new one.
Gotcha. It's all good. If you want, Bonzaga, you go ahead and share that one to people.
Yeah, I put it in the general channel. Maybe I can put it in the Ascended as well.
Look, they can catch it live. They can catch the replay. It's all good. And we're going to iron these things out, right? It's our first one, but we're going to keep it going. By the Dip, man, look, it's an honor to have you here. And I was telling Bonzaga before that your name is just education in itself. How you feeling, man? How you doing this weekend?
Hey, man, great. Yeah, excited to be here, guys. Excited about Champions Ascension. Excited about the potential of this game. And yes, buy the dip. Always buy. Even when people don't want it, that's when you buy. And when people want it, that's when you sell.
Man, I think we're getting into a little bit of that right now. And so I think it's good to hear just your name and a little bit of that perspective. But we might dive into that. Look, so just to back way up, this podcast, it's what we wanted to do is educate people that might be looking to enter the NFT space, period. As everybody knows, we're very early, even in NFTs, especially in NFT gaming. So we want to educate people looking to enter the space. We want to educate people looking to enter the play to earn gaming, and also be a home base for experienced Prime Eternal holders like us 5 right now. Because exactly the people that are listening probably today and right now is exactly who we are, right? We're feeling what you're feeling. We bought early. We might have minted, and we're like, okay, going along with the process of the game. Some of us are excited and energized enough to get together for this podcast. And then I think on this Discord, we've probably seen some people with some anxiety, some impatience, right? We've seen people ask things like, when's stake? When's the white paper? But, we might get a little bit into that, but we have a reason to be confident, at least I do, and all of us here do. This game is made by Jant City. For those that don't know, I bet a lot of us do know. It's a video game studio, right? It is not just a video game studio; it's a AAA gaming studio and a mobile AAA gaming studio, and it has over 1.3 billion downloads to today. And that's a big reason why I decided to enter this game in this space. And I just kind of want to go around, maybe by the dip. Like, what kind of got you to the point to finding out about this game, Champions Ascension? And then, why did you put your ETH up? Kind of what was that process?
Yeah, so I was researching just different things into the crypto space, and then I came along these NFTs, right? And I think we all saw it with the Bored Apes. Like, oh man, that looks pretty cool, right? Like the animation, I liked their styles, and then all of a sudden, these Bored Apes are shooting up to 100 plus ETH, right? And that's what piqued my interest, because it's like, hey, we're onto something here. And we're talking about digital assets. We're talking about a whole new level here, So I just started to research it, and of course, right, came along YouTube, saw an influencer, saw something about CA Champions, and I'm like, hey, let me check this out. Looked up Jam City, saw it was a reputable company, saw that, it's done over $1 billion in revenue, how it has 50 million player base, how they have come out with games that, are high scale to millions of players. They're one of the mobile leaders in the gaming industry. And then you look at the leadership as well, So coming into the NFT space, I was fairly new. You don't really know anything. So as we're going and we're taking steps, we're learning, right? And we come to a couple of bumps and we get a couple of bruises. But that's just getting skin in the game, right?
Yep.
So I saw that. I saw the company. And what mainly sold me on this, guys, was the company, right? And nowadays, anybody can create an NFT. We all know that, right? We have a lot of people that are programmers, that make games, that make art, right? So anybody can make it, right? But how many companies or how many people can make a successful long-term game in the web-based gaming, right? Like, so I looked at all that and just put two together, and I was like, hey man, like, in the 1800s there was gold rush, right? In the 50s and 60s you could buy a house for $10,000, $15,000. In the 90s there was that dot-com era with Amazon, and then you had Google and Microsoft and Apple, right? This is the time now for us, is the NFT space and crypto. This is us. And I just wanted to be a pioneer, and I like to put my money where my mouth is.
That's it, man. Look, and buy the dip, right? If you're gonna make some money, you're not buying the top. If there's a little bit of dip or a little bit of lull in this game, I think it's happening right now. So if you're listening right now, this is kind of the time to get in, to buy the dip, and if you have to sell the top. You don't do the reverse, right? So Z-Making, man, we talked a little bit last week. I think we're all in the Discord. We see some people having some anxiety. But what brought you here? What keeps you confident about, waiting for the gameplay and kind of, diamond handing for the long term? Why are you confident about this?
So I'm kind of like still fairly new to NFTs myself. Champions Ascension was actually my first NFT that I've ever had physically put in my wallet. So I've got that, like, that newcomer vibe still going. So that is one of the things that's driving me. But I came here because I've been a gamer for a long time, 30 years, right? And I'm noticing all the new play to earn stuff. So I've always wanted to be able to have the opportunity to make some money doing something I love. Who doesn't, right? So I started looking into play to earn games, and just doing my research and, going off of lists that other people have. And, the first one that I saw was Axie. Obviously, that's probably one of the most well-known play to earn games that they have out there right now. So I started doing research into that, and just figured out all the best things that I could probably get, watched hours of videos, tutorials on people, showing how to play the game to what could be the best meta for what's going on based on that season and what they've nerfed and what they've buffed, and it got to be a lot, right? So I'm looking into it and I'm like, oh man, I had all this whole different team lined up, and I'm looking at it, I'm like, oh man, I could put a team together, for like 0.3 to 0.4 ETH, and in the back of my mind, I'm like, that's like $1,000. What am I going to spend $1,000 on a game for, right? And so as I'm looking into it more, it's just nothing but FUD going on at the time when I was doing it, because it was right when everything was down low. They were just trying to come out with ways to turn stuff around, and I'm like, I'm just gonna hold off on this, and started researching some more, and I'm looking for games because it's right around the corner of 2021, 2022, and every single one I looked at after that, Champions Ascension was in the top 10. And looking at all the different games, there's a lot of good games out there coming up, right? But Champions Ascension it caught my eye. Like, I've played a lot of Mortal Kombat when I was younger. I've performed a couple fatalities or brutalities, and this kind of, I'm into the PvP and the arena style fighting games already. So this kind of was right up my alley compared to some of the games like Star Atlas, where you're out in the middle of space, or a couple other games that had some artistic qualities that weren't my niche. So I did a bunch of research into Champions Ascension, and that's when I made a Discord account just to be able to jump in and see what was going on with Champions Ascension, and made a Twitter account for all that stuff so I could follow along, and it
you
drew
like what
me
you
in.
see, right?
It drew me in.
It's a spectacular looking game and graphics, and I think like by the Dip said, it's one thing to make an NFT, right, for maybe a teenager to sit at home and watch a YouTube tutorial and make a whole run of 10,000 NFTs. It's another thing to make a video game that's playable, that people want to play, and actually have a history of doing so, having over 1 billion downloads in mobile game. And like I said, it's mobile gaming, right? And it looks like a very fun game, very compelling game. And I think if I were to imagine, and I'm not a game developer, right? But if I were to imagine a good game, it looks exactly like Champions Ascension, right? It's some adventure aspect to it, some staking aspect. It's land, and then it's fighting player versus player in the arena, right? You can't really deny those types of things. Vita G, what do you think, man? Like, why do you like this game? Kind of what brought you here?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, first and foremost, I was looking into Axie, just like Z Macon said, and I was on a YouTuber's channel, and they, before the mint, when we were still working on Whitelist, they had just brought it up, and really the things that stuck out to me were the backing of a large company who has experience. In this environment where there are so many scams and so many rug pulls, just having a large entity who has more skin in the game as just a game development company, that to me was absolutely massive. And took a lot of that anxiety of, is this someone just trying to get my money away from that? Took that away, as I saw that company. Right. I just love that. As I got involved with the community, I love the way that the developers interacted. You can tell that they're actually gamers, and that also really excites me because I'm a gamer. I want to play a compelling game. So I want to see that the people who are developing the game have played games in the past. They understand game mechanics. They understand the community with which they are trying to introduce this game into.
Right.
So I, like Z Macon said, I earning money doing something that I love is also a really compelling argument, right?
Yes. The same here, right? And like you said, like Jam City is a company of gamers. It's kind of built for gamers by gamers. And I know the way Bunzaga got here, and I listened to all of Bunzaga's YouTube episodes, and him and I kind of talked about this a lot. But he came around just through gaming, trying to find a fun compelling game to play. And then from there, I think Gonzaga, and speak to this a little bit, but then you found out about Web3 and NFTs and everything. So kind of talk about your process, how you found the game, and kind of what you discovered about the whole Web3 and NFT part.
Yeah, so I first stumbled across the website and saw the graphics and thought, oh, that's kind of interesting. It's like a rhinoceros that's like in combat, and I saw the Discord link and went to the Discord channel and just fell in love with the lore and fell in love with the visuals and the graphics. And then, I've just been reading everything I can about it, about, arena combat and like a real world where you're actually there and you actually own a house, and that's like
Charge
legit.
complete.
And just kind of, I mean, everything I've discovered about the game, I've just really enjoyed, and I'm on the wagon with. But yeah, I didn't know what an NFT even was. I didn't know what Web3 was. So I had to investigate all that and make sure I wasn't doing something stupid with my money. But I'm in it for the game. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, I think the Web3, so it's kind of hard to put into context, right? It's like, you don't really know how to describe something that isn't here yet. And I went back and looked at old description and the way people tried to describe the internet in the early 90s. They couldn't really do it, right? You had to wait for some people that wanted to pioneer the space to develop what the internet looked like. And that's where we are in Web3 right now. So the fact that us five are together, right? We have a gamer and someone that's experienced with developing like Gonzaga. We have some investors and still people that like games. We have myself that really has not a lot to do with, a gaming industry. Somebody that wanted to look at NFTs. And bringing us all together, sharing ideas. I feel like Jam City really has their finger on the pulse of what Web3 is, right? And I think that they want to get feedback from the community, which is what they're doing. And they want to really just propel and kind of build to this game. So that's a big reason why I'm here. They're a pioneer gaming studio that's entering in the Web3 space when they didn't have to, and I support that. So that's cool. I think we that we have a lot of similar interests. Before moving to the next segment, anybody else have anything to add about that? Like why they're here, what they think about Jam City in this game?
Just a little follow-up. I don't know if Gonzaga has one of the clips of the Jam Cities, just their record, guys, so that way the viewers can just see the record for themselves, right? Like 175 billion growing globally in the global gaming industry, right? They have over 850 million in bookings, 160 million in lifetime installs, right? 400, their Panda Pop franchise, over 400 million in bookings. So, I mean, it's just, when you think of something, how a company can scale something this big, it's really extraordinary.
Mm-hmm. Right. Is that over one? So let's get that right. Is it over 1 billion installs total of their games in total?
So it says here they have achieved more than 3 billion in lifetime booking and 1.3 billion cumulative in installs to date.
Look at that. International, by the way, right? So it's global. Global companies, over 1 billion installs. So they've done that before, right? With a great game. They brought people to the game, and that's what we need, right? We need people to want to play this game. And I feel like that's why we're here. So when it comes, like some of us had some homework, right? I don't know how good we are at doing homework. I wasn't the best, but we looked into other play to earn games. The metaverse Web3, like I said, is just a brand new space. So it's hard to compare other games to what Jam City and what Champions Ascension is doing right now. But there's some out there that we looked into. What caught, I think, a lot of people's attention and what brought a lot of interest, I think, to the Web3 and metaverse space was in NFTs was, of course, the Bored Apes Yacht Club. They're doing amazing things. They just announced that they're going to build out their own metaverse. And in their roadmap, one of their main things is also a play to earn game. Now, some people might see that as some sort of competition. Some people might see that as, they're going to take some of some of that away from the game that we're interested in. But I'm thinking, great minds think alike, right? If you see a franchise as successful as Bored Ape Yacht Club, and what they want to do is exactly what Champions Ascension is doing right now. They're looking long term to build out a metaverse, which is what Champions Ascension is doing right now. And they're also looking to do a play to earn game, which is what Champions Ascension is, and this is the reason why we're here. And so I see that as kind of inspiring and makes me even more bullish on this game, because this is a game that's going to draw people to it, right? We don't need the big brand of Bored Apes Yacht Club, but what we need is a playable game. That excites me. They're going to do land sales pretty soon with the Bored Apes Yacht Club, which is what kind of, the land part is what we're waiting for. But I know that other folks looked into other games. Let's By the Dip, what do you think? I know that you've played a game already, or you have some experience yet. What did you find out, and kind of what types of things you think will relate to Champions Ascension based on the games that you've experienced?
So I have played one other NFT game, and that is Townstar. Right now, basically that's through Gala Games. They're also another big company that makes play-to-earn games. Now, the thing with Gala, the thing with Townstar is, right, the amount of NFTs you own determines how much Town Coin you earn. And you can earn it per day, right? Like, say, for instance, you have a crane on your farm that earns you 79 Townstar a day, right? Right now, the price of Townstar, I'm not sure. Its all-time high, though, was at $2, right? So you can get the idea of how profitable something like this can be, right? Some people having 10, 12, 20 NFTs, right? Some people making thousands of dollars a day just by playing this little game for 15 to 30 minutes. And that's what really got me hooked on it, because it's just like, you're telling me that playing games all my life, 30 plus years, right? You're telling me that I can actually make money doing something like this, right? Like, like 10 years ago, if I were to tell you this, you would tell me I'm nuts.
Right.
You say, what are you talking about? What do you mean own digital assets, right? We're used to buying skins and then getting a new game, and then what happens to those skins? They get lost, right? We can never reclaim those skins. We can never sell them to any other player. We've played these games where you have to do these unbelievable hard missions and you unlock this certain achievement, and guess what? Once the new game comes out, I lose that achievement. It can't transfer over to the new game, right? So looking into this industry, it was just like, wow, you know what I'm saying? And I got a first taste from it from Townstar. Now, with what intrigued me so much about CA, Champions Ascension, right, is the amount of utility that can be in this game. And I love how everything is centered around the arena. I know we have a map of the whole game. And if you look at that whole map, the arena's in the center of everything. And it totally makes sense if you read the lores. They do put a lot of leaks out there, right, of how the economy works, how you can earn money, how there's just so much stuff in there, right? There's gambling, there's fighting, there's selling dead champions' bones essence, right, to the butcher.
Yeah.
There's growing fruit, because you need the fruit in order to strengthen your champion, right? So as you look, there is just so many economy utilities within the game that once this game goes full scale, and I'm talking full scale, I'm talking millions of players, which this company has done before. So that's why I am so bullish on this, because the glorious 7622 are gonna be like 0.0007 rarity, right? And when that happens, guess what happens? Price goes up. Boom. Exactly.
Right. We're stars. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, look, 100% exactly that. And I think, Vita G, what do you think about that, Vita G? It's like the tokenomics, other video games, and I think you have some experience in another game. Yeah. What do you think that can bring to here? And what are you thinking about Champions Ascension?
Oh, I have a lot of thoughts on that. How much time do we have?
Go ahead, man. Go for it.
So I was just going to say the other game that I am really invested in playing right now is DeFi Kingdoms, which actually used to be DeFi Kingdom, and it's now going to be Kingdoms as of March 31st or 30th. There is going to be another kingdom that's launched on that. I'm not, paid marketer for them. It's just an interesting thing. But the thing about that game that I think that throws a lot of people off is that it's actually it's a DEX. It's a decentralized exchange first, and it really is a game that's built on top of that DEX. So I think they do get a lot of shade because it's not the most compelling game right now. They are releasing more game elements, but as Gonzaga has pulled up here, this is kind of what the game looks like right now. This is a quest. I'm just running a quest here. So if you go to the one Gonzaga that says quest complete, that just shows you kind of what happens when a quest gets completed. You get experience, you get some items, but it's really right now it's a pretty basic gameplay. That being said, I think that there are some really compelling comparisons that you can do when you look at the heroes within that game. And that's the quest complete image right there, where you're seeing there's experience and items, increasing foraging skills. I won't get into all of that too much, but when you're looking at the specific heroes, you can buy and sell them. You can rent them out to assist other players in summoning, and you set your own price for that, which is something that I think is pretty cool. When you're looking at the price of heroes, this is a game that's fairly well established now. They've been going for 6 months, which in the NFT space is a decently long time, right? But if you look at the floor cost, the cost of a floor hero is, as of last night at 9:30, it was 32 Joule, or about $210. Get a relatively decent hero, you were looking at 50 Joule or $330. So those are your very basic heroes. You look at Gen 0 heroes, which would be our equivalent of a Prime Eternal. The lowest Gen 0 hero that is for sale is 3,200 Joule or $21,000. When you look at the two highest Gen Zeros that are on the market right now, one of these is a joke. It's 69,420 Joule. Haha, they're probably a Davey fan. But that one is that's selling for essentially $450,000. Highest one was 9,999, selling for $650,000. So when you look at the growth potential of these very first iterations of the heroes in these gaming worlds, those are the sort of numbers that you could have in your mind. Is this game going to perfectly replicate that? Maybe not. Probably not, honestly, because they are doing new and different things. But I would put this as an encouragement that the heroes are the primary focus, the Prime Eternals are the primary focus of this game, because it is a game first.
Right.
So I'm super stoked on that. I'm not sure if you can tell, but I'm pretty hyped.
Yep.
A couple other things just on heroes. They had an overbreeding problem, or not breeding, they don't call it breeding, an oversummoning problem in this world. And so they actually had an event where people would sign up their heroes, and over 10,000 heroes got burned, got irrevocably removed from the blockchain. People were compensated for it, but they just needed to move heroes out of the player pool. There were just too many of them. So Zero Cool has talked about this a lot. That's part of why they're building in these in-game burn tactics, right? Like if your lower level champion dies, they actually die. I think that's brilliant, right? Because you're actually building in this burn mechanism into the mechanics, so you don't have to host these large events where you're pretty much saying like, hey, we kind of got this a little bit wrong. We didn't expect this to happen in this way, so we need you to sign your hero up to die.
It's in the game, and so it's part of like why you want to win, why you don't want to lose. You got some skin in the game. You can lose your hero, and Zero Cool. He's in Champions Ascension over. I think he's over the tokenomics part right now, but one of the leaders of the Champions Ascension game in Jam City for folks that don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think you mentioned some of the more expensive heroes that you can get, right? Some of they were the original ones, and Z Macon brought up Axie Infinity. They have something like that with the Mystic Axies. I don't know a lot about it, but of course, I think a lot of us have heard about it. I'd apply right now.
Yeah, Mixed Axes. I think everybody knows that, and that's why so many people are really hyped for the NFT gaming, right? Just how Bored Apes was like for the NFTs, right? That's what Axes is for NFT gaming. So you're seeing these Mixed Axes, 100 ETH, 300 ETH, 600 ETH. Crazy. We're talking about millions of dollars, right? That's the potential Champions has, right? And if you hear Zero Cool, if anybody has heard his AMAs, the guy's a genius, literally a genius. Like every time he has stated what the problems and what they're learning from Axes and no knock to Axes, right? Like I have all the respect in the world for him because, hey, you paved the way. You paved the way for other NFT gamings, and I will forever be thankful for that, right? And we should. We as a young industry, we shouldn't be knocking any project, right? We should encourage everybody to grow this because, like I said, it's still in the infancy stages. So it's so refreshing to hear that guy talk.
Yeah, right, 100%. Gonzaga, did you look into a game? And I know you're new to the space, but what are your thoughts on that? The whole aspect of other games and how that could apply to Champions Ascension.
Actually, this is the only game I've done any research on as far as like for an NFT or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah. I mean, I'm all in with Champions Ascension, so I just don't have time to spread out to other ones.
I think us, yeah. Actually, myself too. So go ahead.
I'll say all prime all the time. That's all that's on his mind.
There it is. Yeah, and I'm really excited about what's happening in the short term with Champions Ascension. Definitely looking to see what the world looks like when those playable aspects come in, and then to see a game studio like this even build that out further, right? Like see what the next iteration is with other land. And I think By the Dip said it perfectly. It's like there's only 7,622 of us. Once this what's called Massina City or the area that they gave us, once that gets fully populated, and then other games that shoot off of that's still in the same metaverse, it's kind of like we're going to be the kings, and I think they said the gods of the game itself, like going into the other parts of the metaverse. So I'm super excited about that. Super excited.
In King Dev, while we were talking about land, I was going to bring up, again, just to have a perspective on a game that's been established, there is actually land in DeFi Kingdoms as well. And I think this land piece that we're talking about, where we actually get to own a piece of land in this game, is absolutely massive. And I don't think it's gotten as much press or attention as a lot of the other perks or reasons for holding. Yes, from my understanding, we are still going to need to buy that land. We're going to need to, stake our primes to get the tokens in order to create, to buy it.
Charge complete.
We have that kind of claim to a land just for being a Prime Eternal holder, right? Which is really awesome. And they've hinted at there's actually utility for that land. In DeFi Kingdoms, the lowest piece of land right now is $100,000. Highest piece is $3.2 million.
Wow.
What
They're
is
pretty successful.
What's crazy about that is that the land, as of right now, there's been no statement about the utility of the land. Just to have it as of right now.
Mm.
So what I'm really stoked on is that Jam City has said, like, no, here are some actual tangible things you could do with this land, not just you can have a piece, but you can have a piece and, you can have a forge if you want to, or you could, there were some other things that they talked about that were
Making
really
the
creative.
shops, yeah, like making the shops, selling the armor, the weapons, and things like that. That's what got me into. And I think who got the minting perks where it's we get the first or second piece of land for free. I was able to get the double trouble one, and that's a big reason why I came in was because of the land. Did any of you guys pick up on the minting perks?
Yeah, I did. It was the first 600 mentors, and I think Bazanga, we have some clips of that too, just for the audience to see. It shows, the first 600 mentors, I think, get a hoodie, and then there is another one where they get a regular champion on there, right? And I had minted 2790. No, I'm sorry. I minted 2794 and 2795 just to get the hoodies.
Dope. That's nice. And then
Yeah.
there's the other one too, right? The double trouble, the triple, where we get the box, the game box, and then we get the guaranteed or free piece of land.
Correct.
Yeah. Who got that? What are your thoughts? Was that part of the reason why you jumped in? That's a big reason why I jumped in, was that land part, the free piece of land for this.
I mean, so many perks, right? Like, oh my gosh, like, and at first it threw us off, right? And I think it threw off the whole community when they said, okay, Mint's happening in 2 days. Like, oh shoot, right? I think that kind of threw people a lot off, right? Because as we know in the crypto space, unfortunately, it takes a long time for my ETH to get freed up, right? Just because of security problems. And that's what a lot of people are having trouble with too. And especially people international, right? Because they have a whole other set of laws, right? And a lot of the countries don't, really, their banks don't really mess with crypto like that, right?
Yeah.
So that kind of threw everybody off. But, what kind of enticed everybody back was like, hey, guess what? You get these free pets. And I know we have a thing on pets too. You get these free pets. First 600 mentors too, get a hoodie, get a game box that you see right here, multi-champion editions that you were talking about. Yeah, like these were just a bunch of sweet deals, and it's like, why not? Why not buy more,
Yeah. For me, it was the champion itself. Okay, you have the character. And this might be the first time I've seen something like this, but you have the playable character. That's one thing. That playable character you can stake and get the in-game currency to buy the land. That got me a little bit more bullish. And then the final step was, okay, you mint right now, you get this right now in this time frame, and I was right on time. And then you get a free piece of land or 2 free pieces of land. So I mean, what do you guys think? Yeah, what do you guys think?
Oh, the land
Mm-hmm.
be kind of more like I'm hoping it'll be more like the Genesis land plots that they have in Axie, So they haven't really directed where we're going to be able to get that free piece of land, and they've made it obviously clear that when we do start taking and getting the Massina token, that it's going to kind of be a land grab, right? Whoever gets the most tokens acquired fastest gets to choose the best plots. But they haven't made clear where this guaranteed land plot is going to be for the prime holders. And so, I mean, my hopes is that they do something like in Axie, they have Genesis land right now, right? So just looking on their marketplace this morning, the cheapest land that they have for sale right now is, a little over 2 ETH, which is about $6,500 on the list price. Their cheapest Genesis land token is over 8 ETH. So the potential here, if they play their cards right and put us in a good spot, since we were the early adopters, could be astronomical for the price for just that guaranteed land plot. And then the thing in NFT and metaverse space right now is land. It's all about the land, because that land is, it's essentially like we're all a bunch of trolls under the bridge and we want our piece of the pie to put, get through, right? You can make chokeholds in the place. You can set up guilds on the land. You can force it so people that you don't want to go on certain areas of land can't get there, right?
Wow.
So the potential for the land was a huge draw for me on getting multiple.
Same here. Yeah. When it comes to the Axiland, the land you spoke about, is it in a more strategic place? Is it just more desirable? Why is the first pieces of land in Axie more valuable?
I am not sure because I haven't actually physically played Axie Infinity, but I know just doing the research, right? That the Genesis, they call it Mystic Land. Those plots are a lot higher valued than just any other section of land.
Yeah,
And
yeah. I'm trying to get some tips for this one. So in this one, I want to hear from others, but for this one, I think I heard in one of the AMAs, and of course, we're waiting on the white paper, we're waiting on something in writing. But I think I heard something in AMAs that the folks, the early adopters, the ones that are getting the free piece of land will be in a designated area. Which to me, I think sounds pretty cool because you can show that you're an OG early adopter. So those might be desirable. But, at the same time, maybe somewhere near the arena, that's going to be where all the action is happening, right? I don't know. What do you guys think?
they could give us the marketplace, man. You never know.
Right.
That'd be very generous of them. Of course, we all know anything by the arena is prime real estate. Why? Because the economy is centered around the arena, right? Why not? Like they're talking about, okay, so diamond tokens, right? We're gonna go a little bit, not dive into tokenomics, but just talk about what they were talking about. Diamond tokens, right? Diamond tokens can own you diamond gear. Now, when you think of diamond gear, well, okay, cool, I can unlock this diamond gear, but what if I can have a forge? Could I make diamond gear, right? Or maybe a specific part of the land by the arena, you can make certain types of gear, right? There's so many possibilities, but I would think all prime real estate is near the arena.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they said something like that too. It's downtown. We have first grabs on it. Like if we're in Manhattan, New York, or if we're downtown LA, that's pretty much the place to be. But definitely
Just
going to
looking
have to
at
get
the
built
map,
out.
I mean, looking at the map, the potential areas that I see are probably going to be either to the west of the Coliseum, because that's either going to be part of the market, but it's right in between the training quarters and the market bazaar, right? So to me, that seems like a potential place. And you're right next to Maestro quarters, where with us being the primes, the Maestros are going to want to use us for trying to train up all of the grunts and the challengers and everything else. It would make sense just thinking about it to be somewhere down there, but that's
That's
just
going to
shooting
be
from the hip.
that part is going to be exciting when it comes to finding the land that you want, staking the land, identifying where to be. That's part of the game. Like that's a big reason why I'm here. Another thing I think where some utility can come from, because I looked a little bit into Big Time. I didn't do all of my homework and all of my research, but Big Time is another play to earn game, NFT game, and they're kind of on the same timeline as this one, Champions Ascension. But with their land, what they have is something called space. You can get a small size, a medium size, and a large size. Where the utility comes in with that one is you can hold more items. And I think there's weapons. I think there's some type of gear in Big Time as well. But you can hold more items based on the type of land you have. So maybe they can do something like that with this game. If you have one plot of land, maybe you can hold 2 or 3 items, when it comes to a weapon or a piece of armor. And if you can't fit it, then you have to maybe sell that thing you have and kind of trade up to a different weapon, And I'm sure the team is going through all of these things, all of these examples of games and seeing what fits and what doesn't fit. At the end of the day, right, I'm not the tokenomics person, and I'm in this game because I have faith that the team's going to make the right decisions here. Right. Anything else on the lands, tokenomics, other games, guys, before we move into our final segment?
Yeah, I was gonna say we had somebody post in a comment, just indicated that we actually have an outdated map on here. There are 2 Library of the Arcane listed on this map. The lower Library of the Arcane is actually the House of Death. So thank you to RiotX for that tidbit there. Do appreciate it. And we are monitoring our chats, so please do put any comments, questions in there.
Yeah, I need to take a look at I got to figure out what map I'm looking at too sometimes.
I just I'm uploading one over to our the drive right now, so you can even see it. I just uploaded it right now. It looks like an updated map. I think it says the House of Death. Let me see. Just let me know if it looks correct, and that way you can share it, and we can have an updated map.
Cool. Yeah. And I'm not even on our YouTube right now, so y'all gonna have to help me out because I was on the other one. Now I got the Discord up.
And you know what? A little bit, guys. Like I know a lot of the people don't know too much about the leadership. I mean, these execs, right? We're talking about Krista Wolf, Josh, and Aber. I mean, these guys, their record is just stupendous, right? When you think of it, Krista Wolf, serious entrepreneur, co-founder and CEO of MySpace, right? Which he sold for $580 million, right?
Yes.
Which it's totally insane. He is named one of the top magazine's 100 most influential people in the world. Now, usually when you get a couple of rich guys that get together and plan something, you know, there's something to be said about that.
Yeah. You know what? When you think about MySpace too, MySpace exactly, that was what's called Web 2, which was kind of social media dominated. That was the beginning of Web 2. So back then when MySpace, and I was on MySpace, right? Like that's when I was coming of age. And so when MySpace came out, there was no concept of social media, Web 2, or anything like that. So somebody that's venturing, pioneering into a new space in Web 2 and now going into Web 3, that's right. That's somebody I can put my ETH behind for sure. Yeah, and that whole team. So yeah, 100%. And then even the social part of Web 3 and the social part of the play to earn gaming, they're going to have to draw some people in the way MySpace did and the way, the big companies and Web 2 did. We need to draw people into this game as well.
Exactly. And MySpace was one of the first ones to do it, right? Followed by Facebook, followed by Instagram, but they were really one of the industry leaders, just like an Axies, right? Just like a Bored Ape Yacht Club, right? They were the pioneers in getting community engagement to the Web 2 space. So this team has experience of building in-game community. And now, remember, there was stuff on MySpace to where it was pretty cool, man, right? You can even like buy certain stuff on MySpace to add to your page. You can beautify your page. All kinds of crazy stuff you could do with it back in the day. We're all like, oh my gosh, it's so cool, right? Yep. So imagine what these guys could do in the game space. And Josh, another one, he's the COO. Now this guy is a genius, right? So what he is, he oversees the company's operations, growth strategies, and game portfolio. He has dominated the top grossing charts of Apple, Google, and Amazon app stores. Now, he was a former he was a former president of Fox Entertainment, where he helped the acquisition of MySpace. He created Hulu and launched several television networks, MTV, Nickelodeon, and he saw the development of Univision. So that just tells you, and we all know what Univision is, right? Yeah. So that's just, it's so much more hype, dude. Than it's just like, just reading their portfolio, guys, Lambo, baby. Lambo's coming.
Yep. I think I knew some of that. Go ahead.
I think one of the things that we forgot to touch on earlier is you guys know that Jam City's made a game for Disney, right? Can you guys think of any other big names that Disney's acquired? Like maybe Marvel.
Right, I didn't think of that.
Star Wars. Just some classic, iconic names out there that the company that is creating this game for us has already been associated with. So I don't know. We might be on to the next something here, guys.
Okay, that too, right? Like I did okay, not to get off topic, but I did a little bit of NFT buying in Vivi, and I let a company, and then Disney worked with Jam City, right? And Disney worked with Vivi, a platform for NFTs, and I let a company like Disney be the folks that are going to look into a company, so that I don't have to. Do you think Disney's going to get a fly by night operation to take care of their IP? Absolutely, 100% no. Harry Potter, Disney, all the folks that they work with, they probably put Jam City through the ringer so that I don't have to, right? I don't have the time to do that. Well, Disney did it. Then look, if I think you can trust a company like Disney. They know what they're doing. Like you said, they bought Marvel, and that was probably one of the best acquisitions in our lifetime. That was the right thing to do. All right, guys, we have a few minutes left. There's a last segment of this show that I like. We kind of came up with it, a little bit before, the launch of this podcast, called Prime Mind. So get ready for the Prime Mind segment. What we're going to do is take a look at a Prime, right? Every time I do an episode, we want to take a look at somebody's Prime Eternal, somebody's PE, what they got. Look at it, look at its qualities, look at its features, and kind of just talk about what this Prime has, its good qualities, where it could be strong at. And I think we're going to bring one up right now. I'm not looking at the YouTube, so
We got it
if
up.
someone can take a look.
Yeah.
All right. Somebody describe, go for it. Yeah, what's it looking like? And I'll pull it
Yeah,
up.
it looks like we got a whisperer here, boys. Like, which is one of the most iconic champions right now, right? Because that animated fight between them and the Karkadon, which is legendary, right? Got me all hyped up for the first of this game. Now, looks like we have a one divinity here. And as you see, if you could look on the properties, number 1694 champion, as if you see a D right here, as you see where the horns are, you see a D right by it, and it says 4% have this trait. That is the rare divine trait that champion does have. Now, these are, there's traits, there's divine, there's epic, there's rarity, and then there's common, right? So as you took a look at here, like, first of all, what pops out to me is the war paint right there, the rarity, right? 3%. I tend to look at the lower percents and that really lets me know how special this champion is. Like, this champion is pretty cool right here. As you see, he has 3% and he has that war paint. You see that awesome war paint on him right there too. And then as you see these C's right here, these are common, but when we're talking about common, guys, we're talking about the glorious 7622, right? We're talking about the future 0.0007% of Prime Eternals in the whole game on a 1 million to 50 million player scale. So these commons are going to be like so epic to a regular Eternal, right? Right. So not that it's common, but these are the common attributes for it. And as you see, we have the family Whisper, 8%. People have Whispers. As we see, all Prime Eternals do have a halo, have some type of special halo over him, and that's where you see that imposing. You see the 12%. Solid champion here, man.
Yeah, I pulled him up. I'm looking at him now, 1694.
It's also got 2 purity.
The 2P, I see that, and I see the one of the purity, the war paint, like Brother Dip said, is matches the is a rarity. So the core essence, which is death, war paint, which is death, gives it that 1 purity at least, and that one happens to be rare. What do you guys think? Do you think is there anything out about the matching essences when it comes to rarity and even epic that will make it stronger or more useful in battle or other things?
So based on the AMA that we had a few weeks ago, I think it was with Johnny Casamina or Massina. He was saying that the purity is going to be kind of like increase in the multiplier of something happening when you play. So like he gave the example of death claws being an increase in applying, like, say, a poison attribute when you make an attack. So I think what it's going to do is going to be just an increase in a multiplier for your opportunity to have for a specific event to happen. That these different attributes are going to have. So, like he was saying,
Mm-hmm.
death might be poison, life might be stun. When we get into the non-primes, when you have fire, you may have the opportunity to set fire or do paralyze with air or mountain, or I
You
think
see
just
some,
having
yeah,
the purity will increase the opportunity for that specific event to trigger, and that's
right,
kind of the way he made it sound.
right. And so when we're looking at the core essences matching up with, the other attributes, other characteristics, um, when it comes to rarities, epics, divinities, if those match, what do we think it's going to make it stronger?
Oh yeah.
What are we thinking?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
everything's centered around essence, right? That's what makes a champion. Like even in one of the lores, when remember the cock. If you guys read the Karkadon story, which was real sad, right? It got me moved. Which Ryan, you did a great job, dude, on on
Yeah.
writing that.
The first
Um,
one, right? Man, that got me
yeah.
drawn into the lore.
Oh,
Yep.
dude. Yeah. Yeah. Like, right. Like, where, like, the Maestro, right? He only gave him a little bit of his brother's essence, right? And then he was going to go bury it. And the Maestro was like, no, that's not what you do with it. Like, use it for the battle, right? So I believe, the more centered your essence is, death, arcane, life, right? The
Mhm.
more strong you be. Now, the more purity you have, he said, you will have a higher chances of breeding another Prime Eternal with the high purity as well. But there's always that chance that, right, no purity.
Mhm. Right.
Yep.
But it's still 76-22. So
Yes,
still
sir.
good. Yeah, and then this one, I think you mentioned it, but yeah, I see the horns don't match the purity. Is the horns are divine, don't match the purity. That's an arcane, right? But I think there could also be. I think I heard them say something about rock, paper, scissors types of matchups. It all depends on the matchups, and I think they were describing the core essence, right? Maybe a death versus a life, or arcane, or what have you. But then, what about when it comes to the characteristics itself? So in this case, we have the death core essence, and he has the divine horns. And I think that the arcane is more effective against the life in the rock paper scissors battle. Because he's a death with the divine horns. I'm wondering, what do you guys think? Would that affect a core essence life more, like playing in PvP battle?
I think, like they said, life beats death, right? And then death beats arcane, arcane beats life. How it is. So, like for instance, a Grondel, right? You see, like if you look at the Grondels, right, you can see they have like a metal plate on their head. That's because they don't feel fear. That's why they got that metal plate. Because they're death. Like I have a death essence one, right? He has a metal plate on his head. That's because he can't feel fear. But if he faces a life essence, they can instill fear in him because he's seeing life.
Ah, okay. It's all in the matchups. I like it. I
Yeah.
like the matchups. I like the fact that they said you have to be a skilled player. That's going to count for a lot in the arena. I like all that. Yeah, what do you guys think?
Oh yeah, and we
I
do have. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say I think that the difference in the essences isn't gonna have as big an impact, moreover, of what your core essence is going into a match, right? Like your core essence is what makes up your prime, and the rest are all just pieces of your weaponry, your cachet, for to say the least, right? And I mean, it really is going to come down to the game mechanics. So, for me, for this is my prime right here, guys. In case y'all didn't know, this was my first one. But for me, having the divine horns, like, am I going to be able to headbutt some people and put those to use? Well, I don't know. We'll see. Whereas having, say, the people who have I have, um, you know, no divine claws, right? I have no claws, as a matter of fact, on this character. But people who have the divine claws may have an advantage when it comes to hand-to-hand combat. And I don't know. I have a feeling that the divinity is really going to come into play only when you're talking about specific battle moves, because the big thing that comes up for me is the war paint, right? Like we talked about how this war paint is rare war paint. How there's people who have divine war paint that makes them some who only have divine war paint, and it comes into play like how is that divinity going to affect the battle, right?
Yeah.
So I have a feeling that the divinity and the essences of your specific parts are going to play less of a impact than what your core essence is of your character overall.
Mm-hmm. So I was going to say we're running short on time here, but we did actually have an audience request to have us look at one of those primes. So if we could fit that in before we wrap up, I think.
Let's do it, man. We started late. We got another few minutes. Let's
absolutely
pull it up. Let me know the number. Oh, to look at their own, right?
Right, 1197. I posted it in one of the chats for us. Oh, and I'm already taking a look. Oh my gosh, dude! Whoever Arc, dude, you got a gem. If this is yours, like I've never, and I honestly, and I snipe. I try to snipe all day, guys. You know, I mean,
Me too, man.
Never seen this many epic parts. Really, no divinity, but oh my gosh, bro, this right here, this champion is extraordinary. Yeah, look at that.
Going up right now. Wow. Yep.
Yeah.
Dang.
Holy cow.
5.
Holy cow.
You know what's crazy is 5 E's is tougher to get than 5 D's on the mint because there's more D's than there is E's so far. Right?
Huh.
Right. I've seen one, maybe 2 on one, but I've never seen 4 on one. This is nuts. Like the wings are epic, 2%.
No, they got 5.
Yeah. Oh, they got 5. Oh my gosh. Yeah, they do. You're totally right.
5.
Wait.
The piercing is the only thing that's common, and the rest is all one rare hairstyle. Man, that hair looks good on you, but the rest are all epic. Like that is very impressive champion right there.
Extraordinary, bro. That's why you said it. I opened it. I was like, okay, 2 purity, no divine. Let me see these properties, and there you go, man. So I mean,
when this champion walks around Massina or whatever, we're going to be like, what is all these features it has? Because I don't think I've really even pulled these wings up because that looks like the divine life wings. That's actually an E, so it has a different design. Aquila. So yeah, it's a beautiful champ. All E's is ridiculous. That's it was almost impossible to get. I like to see the stats on that.
Yeah, every characteristic other than the piercing has a 2 or only 1% possibility of having this trait. So this will be one unique champion right here walking around.
Yep.
It's a good mix. I see this art. I love. You know, guys, I'm a death guy, right? But Arcane. Have you seen some of those? Like, honestly, my Garandal Arcane is one of my beautifulest champions.
Yeah, they're pretty. I like them. The features glow. I like them a lot. I've not got one yet. I'm waiting for a good Arcane to pop up. I'm sniping too. Yeah, she's a beauty. And I think when it comes to the epic traits, I think that's really good for breeding too. I'm wondering, I don't think this has been answered, right? There's a lot of us waiting for the white paper, but when it comes to divinity, we know that when you breed, you can't pass divinity down. But does that mean that you have a higher chance of getting an epic or a rare trait for that divinity? And if not, what does it really turn into? But when it comes to being epic, probably chances are you have a higher chance of passing an epic trait down if you're doing the soul fusion and breeding, right? So I think this would be a good one for breeding too.
Oh yeah,
I agree.
Mm-hmm. All right, champs, prime minds. Any last thoughts? We're wrapping up our first episode here. Any last thoughts? What you guys got, man? Go around, just say your farewells. Any last thoughts you have?
I just want to say thank you guys for being here. You know, this is a great first episode. I think we got lots to look forward to, and I'm really looking forward to Champions Ascension putting out some more info for us to talk about, guys.
That's Z making. What you think, Vita G? You still here?
Vita's here. Vita's always here.
What's up, Vita? Yeah, what are you thinking, man?
One thing we didn't say, I just do want to throw this out there that didn't get mentioned before, is another really cool thing about Jam City is that they are looking to have this product adopted by the masses. They are looking to have a free-to-play element to this game. And I think that just another really exciting thing about this game looking forward. In order to do that, they're going to have to streamline what it means to interact with a blockchain game. Sorry, I'm just thinking about this now. We also had some comments about it, but it's just, that to me is so incredible, and that could revolutionize the way that we do gaming in general, not just blockchain gaming, but gaming in general. If they can figure out how to streamline this process, this is massive in my head. So,
You're right.
I just want to float that out there. Oh, so go ahead.
No, I'm saying bring people to the party. Yeah, go ahead.
Absolutely. And that's, the more people we get in here, the better and the more rare our Prime Eternals will be, right? So we get to reap those rewards as well. So very excited about that. All in all, again, as E-Make said, just want to thank everybody for being here. It's been a blast being on with everybody. Looking forward to continuing this podcast. If anybody wants to chat more about DFK or anything, feel free to drop me a line in Discord.
That's it. By the dip, what are you thinking, man? What's your final thoughts?
Yeah, my final thoughts, I'm bullish, man. I'm bullish. I'm hyped. I'm excited for the future. I think we're at a good place right now. This podcast, love it. Love the people who are in it. Thank everybody who's come out, everybody who's listened. Thank you. We definitely have a good thing going, and we're going to keep it going. Keep the vibes going, and LFGCA.
Hell yeah. Gonzaga, man, our tech wizard, master of all trades. What are you thinking?
I'm just soaking it all in. You guys have so much information out there, and I'm just listening and absorbing it all.
We're doing our thing.
Yeah, I'm super bullish though.
Yeah. Same here. Look, I'm happy. I think I said it in the Discord, man. We are in the best game inside of the best space, which is NFT gaming, play to earn gaming, Web3. And, I put my ETH behind what I think is the best company that has a track record of onboarding players, a lot of players with a lot of different games. And I think this is going to be their biggest one, which is why I'm here. With that said, this is King Dav. We're joined by Bunzaga, Z-Macon, Vita G, by the Dip. We're going to come to you weekly, so check us out every Saturday. And that's it. Signing off from the top. Champions Ascension.